know about all-in-ones. What is the ideal budget for you? What screen size should you be buying, and whether or not you should be buying a touchscreen AIO?
Paid apps for your home entertainment system, a great deal for this week, and we will answer all your questions on our segment Quick Fix.
Welcome to Unboxed,
the ultimate tech buying guide show. Well, the world of PCs has changed. First, you had a desktop, a tower PC, where you had a lot of wiring coming from the back. You had the power cable, one connecting your keyboard, the mouse, just a bundle of wires all over the place. And then came the dawn of the all-in-ones. But should you really consider picking up an all-in-one? Well, we have Nikhil, who's going to tell us everything we need to know. So Nikhil, let's start with the first and most important thing. What is the purpose of owning an all-in-one?
See, it's the convenience. It's the out-of-the-box experience. When you pull out an AIO out of the box, you just start using it. You don't need to worry about the peripherals, the cables to be attached. Sometimes you buy a tower PC, you don't know which cable goes where, and you're like lost somewhere. With AIO, you don't need to worry about that.
And how do you choose? I mean, what would make you decide between a traditional PC and an AIO?
Personally, I would go with my own rig. I'll put a cooler inside.
But that's you.
Yeah, that's
But for everyone else out
I think people would find it more convenient with the AIO, because the only thing that lacks in it is that you can't upgrade. The upgradability issues. You have to replace the device completely. Otherwise, it's a brilliant device. You buy laptops. Similarly, you can buy an AIO without thinking.
Okay, so now if you are going to go and pick up an AIO, what is a budget that you should keep in mind, and what are your expectations from that budget? So for example, let's say if I go in for a tower PC, I know that I can do X number of graphics on it, maybe video editing or run Photoshop and other suites, or even gaming on it. So your rigs are built to your specifications, but an all-in-one is of course coming straight from the factory. So can you give a price to expectations ratio to us?
See, the thing is, nowadays the AIOs have come a long way. We have AIOs starting from 20,000 rupees. We have the Chrome base. We have AIOs going up to 1 lakh rupees, which you can convert into a hybrid coffee table. You can play with your family. So it really depends on your needs, but a good budget would be around 30 to 40,000 rupees, where you can get 4 GB of RAM and 1 TB of hard drive and graphic card in it, and Windows 8 installed. The advantage is with the AIO, you get a touch screen also included in it.
Now that you've mentioned touchscreen, does anyone really need a touchscreen on a desktop or even a laptop for that matter? I mean, I can't imagine like sifting through all my material like that.
Well, that's completely, a person's need. If you're doing something which only browsing and swiping through photos, and if you...
But you're paying extra just for being able to browse using just your finger.
But with AIOs, you're not paying extra. It comes inbuilt, because AIOs are enabled with touchscreens other than the Macs, but other AIOs always have a touchscreen enabled.
And if you're saying between 30 to 40,000 rupees is a good price for an AIO, if you compare a 30 to 40,000 rupee all-in-one to a traditional desktop for the same price, how would they differ with their features?
With the 30,000 or 40,000 tower PC, you can put a lot of things. You can put high-end graphic cards and 2 TB of hard drive and a lot of other things. But then again, the challenge of wiring, and you really want to go through that pain and installing drivers and a lot of other things. With an AIO, the only thing is that you can't upgrade it, but the convenience and the good looks of it.
So essentially, if you're the geek who wants everything in the PC the way you want it, it's more of go in and build your own tower. But if you want just that one family desktop that can do everything and maybe a little bit more, you would consider an all-in-one. Great, so now that we've got our audience base in place, that they know what they're looking for, give me a budget and 3 or 4 options to consider in that budget.
So if you're just using it for browsing and a little bit of office work, you can go for a Chrome base, which starts at around 20,000 rupees, which is very decent amount for a AIO. And if you want to upgrade a bit more, you can go for a 30,000 rupees HP 20 AIO. You can go for a Dell 20 AIO. If you want a bigger screen size, you have to spend a little bit more, like around 40,000 rupees. You get 30 inches of screen. So then you get the Asus Transformer AIO and a lot of other options over there. And if you want a really good looking, and if you're into a different ecosystem, you can go for an iMac.
Right.
But
and
that
which
is
one?
Crossing a price barrier. But no, another thing that you should actually talk about, and this will be of course more beneficial for our viewers, is since you're going to be pretty close to the all-in-one, it's going to be on the table, what screen size do you think is great? I mean, you can go 30 inches and above, but then that will just be overkill if you're on a table, right? So a screen size to utility ratio, if you can elaborate
I think
on
it's
that.
between 22 to 27, which the iMac is, because I've used a 27 inches iMac, and I think it's perfect size, but you have to maintain a little distance. You can't just hunch onto the screen and start doing your work.
Alright, and if you had to pick one out of all the ones that you've recommended, which one would it be and why?
I think I would go with the HP 20 because it's value for money and it's, future proof. It's not going to be obsolete in another 2 years or something.
Okay, and I mean, what does it have that the others don't have within the recommendation?
I think the pricing, because it was available for around 35, it's dropped down to 25,000 now, which is a good deal, and also 20 inches of screen, 500 GB of hard drive, Windows 8.1 installed, and you will get Windows 10.
Okay, we've talked about the upgrade issue with the AIOs. Is there any way of, bypassing it to make it easier for our consumers now that you've put in your money so it doesn't get obsolete too fast?
So that's the only thing, that you need to buy a device that is a little high spec in the beginning itself, so that you don't need to worry about, like when you're buying a flagship smartphone, you just buy it and you future-proof yourself for 2 years or at least an year now.
But that has changed now.
Yeah, but with AIO, I think it's really depending on your need. If you really, I don't think so you'll go obsolete if you're using 4 GB of RAM right now. I think it can last another year or two.
Well, now you know the all-in-one that you're going to pick up. You may save some money if you're not buying one of the high-end ones. And if you've saved some money, we have a great deal of the week for you.
Great products speak for themselves, and the OnePlus One is a great example of this. The smartphone garnered quite a bit of attention without any marketing. If you are one looking to pick up a OnePlus One, you would have to invest about 22,000 rupees for the 64 GB variant. But not this week. The 64 GB Sandstone Black OnePlus One is available online for 16,990 rupees, and that is a great deal. Coming to the specifications of the device, it has a 5.5-inch 1080p display and runs on Android 4.4 KitKat, upgradable to Android 5.0 Lollipop. It has a quad-core processor coupled with 3 GB RAM. The rear has a 13-megapixel camera and the front has a 5-megapixel selfie camera. The package is powered by a 3100 mAh battery.
Well, moving on now, we have Quick Fix where we're going to answer all your questions, and here's question number 1.
I'm using an iPhone 5s and would like to buy a fitness band. Which fitness band should I buy? My budget is about Rs 2000.
Wow, fitness, and a fitness band on a budget for an iPhone 5s.
Nonetheless.
I'm pretty sure he hasn't heard of an Apple Watch per se. Okay,
It's
never mind.
not really, he just says 2,000 is his budget.
Oh, I thought $2,000.
Of course, why not?
Okay, no, but for 2,000 rupees with an iPhone 5s, do you think something's compatible?
Definitely it's the Mi band, the MI band, and you can get it for 999 rupees. And also, if you're using a 5s, it's got a motion sensor in it, motion processor in it. So you really don't need, if you don't want to track your sleep, it tracks your steps, your heartbeat. So unless and until you really want to track your sleep, you don't need a fitness band.
But tell me something, isn't it just weird that you have a 5S but you want a fitness band for under 2,000? I mean, that's really like, I mean, you're budgeting it like very close, don't you?
I think he spent all his budget on the iPhone, so he wants to save some money on the fitness band.
These people?
Yeah, fitness freaks, no, not my cup of tea. Okay, we'll move on to question number 2.
Why are smartphone makers launching 4G-enabled smartphones in India when 4G isn't available? Does it make sense to invest in a 4G-enabled phone today?
Well, this one's a very valid question. I mean, we're barely managing with 3G. Now, 4G seems like a bit of a stretch. So what do you think?
I think 4G is, you should take it as a feature, not something, an add-on on a device. You know, every device is coming with a 4G. So take it as a feature and buy your device. Don't worry about if it's going to be there in the city or not, if it's going to be in your country or not. If you're traveling, you might have a 4G network and then you'll feel, okay, I didn't have 4G in my smartphone.
But you're saying that, so don't base your purchase on the fact that it has 4G.
or not, yeah.
But doesn't 4G enabled on the smartphone, it'll always search for a 4G network by default? Wouldn't that consume more battery? But also, will, you know, the first generation 4G phones, will they be compatible with the 4G networks that are out in India? Wouldn't that be a concern?
The smartphones with 4G enabled networks have just come in the market, so I think that should be in India at least. I don't know about if you bought a device from abroad, but in India I think they should support the network. And about the battery consumption, I think you can switch off 4G or LTE and you can just be on 3G.
So is this future proof, or is this just dream on world that we're living in right now?
I wish I could say it's future proof, but right now it's a dream on world in India.
Well, we're going to take a quick break on Unbox, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more buying advice on the other side of the show.
Please stand by. Stand by. Please stand by. Stand by.
Welcome back from the break. This is Unbox, the ultimate tech buying guide. Now, Sameer claims that he was working very hard over the weekend, but I highly doubt it. He was testing out gaming laptops. I'm going to say that again. Testing out gaming laptops. I do not believe that one bit. So, Sameer, what did you do?
Well, yes, Asha, what I have with me today are two gaming mammoths, one from Lenovo and the other one from ASUS. Now, right out of the box, I have to tell you that when it comes to gaming, both these laptops performed really, really well. But which one is worth your hard-earned cash? Well, that's what we're going to find out today. And we're going to kick things off with the specifications of these two beastly gaming laptops.
The Lenovo Y50 has a 15.6-inch UHD display, whereas the ASUS has a 17.3-inch Full HD display. Both the laptops have a 4th generation Core i7 CPU. The Lenovo has 16 GB RAM, whereas the ASUS has 24 GB RAM. Both the laptops offer 1 TB storage and have the NVIDIA GTX 860 graphics card. The Lenovo Y50 is priced at about 1,19,690 rupees and the ASUS G751JM is priced at 1,35,999 rupees.
Now, when it comes to specifications, both these laptops score really, really high. And when it comes to design, there are two things I must tell you. Firstly, both the laptops are really, really heavy. So if you plan to carry these around with you, be prepared to lug around a lot of weight. And secondly, their design is also very unique. The Lenovo brings a very simplistic, slightly classy design, which I kind of like because, you know, classy is simple and I like that. And the ASUS has a slightly edgy design to it, and that is great too, considering it's a gaming product. But enough about looks. Let's see how these two laptops perform.
Let's get the worst out of the way. The trackpad of the Lenovo Y50 isn't the best. My first instinct was to plug in a mouse, and that's what I did. There are gaming laptops out there with better raw horsepower, but for the price, the package on offer is impressive. Both the laptops' keyboards' red backlighting is attractive, and the keys are comfortable enough for gaming. The number pad on the Lenovo feels slightly squeezed, and this is a downer, especially if you're a number cruncher. On the ASUS, the keyboard is well laid out. Overall, both the laptops work well for everyday use, and with all the horsepower under the hood, they handle all the tasks like a breeze. Coming to the reason you'd buy these machines, the games. So let's break it down for you. Most of the AAA games we played on the laptops worked and worked well. You will of course have to customize the settings in the games as per your pleasure, but here is the crux of it. The Lenovo sports a UHD display, which means that you can bump up the resolution to maximum. The trade-off is that you will have to reduce other settings in the game to achieve a smooth frame rate. The ASUS on the other hand has a 1080p display, limiting the resolution. The upside here is that you can bump up other settings to get more details from the textures. In terms of battery life, both the laptops died in less than 4 hours of gaming, and that's pretty much what we'd expect from these beasts.
Now, if I asked you the first gaming brands that came to your mind when you thought of gaming laptops, what would you say? I think you'd probably say either Razer or Alienware. Well, I'm proud to say that today you can add 2 more names to that list. If you're someone who wants to play games in a very high resolution and doesn't mind compromising on certain other graphical details, then the Lenovo Y50 is the laptop for you. But if you want to play games in 1080p and bump the graphical resolutions of other aspects to a real high, then the ASUS can definitely be your weapon of choice.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I do not justify that as work. What do you have to say for yourself right now?
Well, The point is, I actually spent time, played a lot of games on 2 laptops, and you just saw how hard work it is. You know, it's a lot of work.
Oh, you poor thing. Even
Don't
Nikhil
you know,
doesn't
like,
believe you.
I envy
Look at
you,
that.
that's what I can say.
Yeah, Nikhil, don't you know how much effort it goes
definitely
into actually
is.
testing games on a laptop, spending 12 hours on each just
Oh,
playing?
boo-hoo. I'm sure it really drained you out.
Well, anyway, moving on from Showdown, we're going to take a look at some great products in the second-hand buying guide.
The 4th generation iPad is still a great product. Sure, it's 2 generations older, but it runs on the latest iOS and performs very smoothly. If you are looking to invest in your first iPad, you may want to give the 4th generation iPad a go. But what better way to stick to a budget than to turn to the second-hand market? In the second-hand market, you can get the 4th generation iPad for as low as 15,500 rupees. The device has a Retina display and comes with a Lightning connector. You may want to check the device and all the contents of the box before investing. Also make sure to factory reset the device so that you get the experience of a brand new iPad.
Well, Asha, I wasn't the only one who was busy on the weekend. What I asked Asha to do is figure out some great paid apps that can help me improve my home entertainment experience. Yeah, sure, you can always buy a media streamer or connect your PC to your television, but that's not what this is about. Some great apps that I can purchase on my already existing home theater experience to make it a lot better.
Well, Sameer, I know how much you enjoy watching movies on your home theater system. Now, if you're someone like Sameer who absolutely loves their movies, I have 3 very cool paid apps that you must check out. Now, the first one is something called Beamer. Now, Beamer is great for all you Apple lovers out there. Now, the biggest problem is streaming high-resolution content from your Mac to your Apple TV. Well, that's where Beamer comes in and solves that problem for you. Priced at Rs 1000, Beamer helps you seamlessly stream content from your Mac to your Apple TV. Whatever codec, whatever format, Beamer will recognize it and stream the content smoothly. Just remember, both the devices need to be on the same network. You can download a free trial to check out the streaming quality, but we recommend the app if you're one rocking an Apple TV and a Mac. The app recognizes subtitles too. Now, this particular app is available for both Mac and Windows, and it lets you seamlessly get subtitles with a simple click. So you don't have to go hunting for those perfect subtitles for your movies or your television shows anymore. Speaking of subtitles, behold the app Subtitles. Simply drag and drop your movie into the subtitle app and behold, you have subtitles. Now, in our experience, the subtitles are perfect 90% of the time, and there are the odd movies that need to get them manually. But for Rs 650, it's worth the convenience. Now, speaking of convenience, we have Plex for iOS and for Android. Now, I know that Plex is free for your desktop and your laptop, but what happens when you want to watch movies from the comfort of your Android smartphone? Well, that's where Plex comes in. Priced at about Rs 300, the app works seamlessly so long as you're on the same Wi-Fi network as your computer where the content is present. Simply download the paid app, log in, and voila! You have access to your entire media library. Just make sure your laptop is on with Plex running on it. Now you can watch the movie from the comfort of your smartphone in your house without lugging the laptop everywhere.
Well, Asha, I wasn't the only one now having fun on the weekend. You were streaming movies.
Mine was a lot more work than yours. Okay, I'll actually pay for it. You don't even have to pay for it.
Yeah, well, you know, that's why it's paid apps. It's a buying guide show, Asha. They need to buy these products. What is your favorite app to stream movies or media content?
I've been using Plex, and I think it's a brilliant device. Brilliant
have you
app.
paid for Plex service, the $5 a month or the $150 for the premium package, or just the 300 rupee app on your phone?
Sameer's getting very excited about it. He uses the Plex. We know that. We know you have all of it with you. But now it's time for us to end the show. I hope you really enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.
And as always, you can write into us at primetech@ndtv.com. Goodbye for now. Hope you enjoyed the show.
by.